The Rap Roundtable.
Ah, yes. Rap Roundtable back on deck. Another Monday night. Best show on Mondays. The Rap Roundtable. One's up in the chat. One's up wherever you at. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe option. Hit the notification bell. Log in to all things Rap Roundtable. It's your guy Jov here alongside Macito, alongside Sincere Rap Snob.
What up?
Dini may or may not be here tonight. We don't know. We'll see. Shout out to the chat. I see D. Rick James in the building, Dion Carrington, Zay Stanley in the building. Shout out to everybody who was already populating the chat. Shout out to everybody who's watching on multiple platforms. Again, we are the Rap Roundtable. Fellas, what's the word? How y'all feeling?
Chilling, man. Coming off of my week off, celebrating my birthday. You know what I mean? Back to the grind again today. You know how that go.
Back to the regular program. I'm surprised you don't take 2 weeks. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
Surprised what?
Surprised you don't take 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
I should have. Yo, that's crazy because I was filling out my timesheet today. I was like, yo, I got mad time. I should have taken 2 weeks off.
Oh yeah,
I really should have banged it for 2 weeks.
You didn't do your customary LA trip this year or your West Coast trip either.
So West Coast in the house.
That's a fact. You know what I mean?
My shit was pretty regular too, man. You know me, working with the kids, all the regular business. Me and Sin were just talking about just the state of music and everything. You know what I mean? How valid, whether albums are really coming and going in this time. So, I just was, going back to the classics this weekend. Sin, you'd have liked this. I was listening to a little Mos Def this weekend. You know what I mean?
Woo!
Yeah. I seen Dame Dash mention him in an interview, insultingly, you know what I mean, towards Jay-Z, but we won't even speak about that. But he did make me want to listen to some more. So this was a Mos Def weekend for me. I'm gonna be honest. Yasin Bey type vibe.
Anything specific or just like a playlist or what?
I mean, black on both sides, of course, but
always.
I was never a huge and Black Star, obviously, the classic raucous era. I was never a huge fan of his post Mos era. You know what I mean? At least not in real time, but as I get older, appreciating more sounds, you know what I mean, better songwriting. It's actually a little underrated, you know what I mean? And when you young, you kind of caught up in that mainstream, just was popping wave. So it kind of felt like, I honestly missed, even though I was here for all of this, I missed all of this in real time. So just kind of appreciating the mighty Mos, man.
Salute.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everybody talking about the Ecstatic now because like he finally put it out, not on regular streaming services, but on it's a service called Qobuz or Qobuz. I don't know what it is. It's a high res, high fidelity platform. And that I think that's like the only platform that it's available on right now. So unless you use that platform, you're not hearing it. And he put the vinyl out. So a lot of people been talking about Mos ever since he put the Ecstatic back out.
You know what it is? I think it's kind of what you were talking about maybe a month and a half ago. To the whole question about albums coming and going. Everything is so personally algorithmic now. Before there was like a pseudo meeting ground for hip hop conversations and the general zeitgeist. Now when you open your phone, all you get is not just YouTube, it's everywhere. Wherever you go, it's just flooded with things that you double tap or hit like on or you reshare, whatever. However you interact with social media is what you get fed on your timeline. So everything is algorithmic, to your point, Sin. So it's like albums aren't coming and going. It's just that, if Sin don't like Drake and he's not double tapping Drake posts or resharing Drake posts, he's not gonna see all the Drake shit from the Drake fans and the music videos and the online academics nonsense on his timeline. Whereas it'll be the opposite for Macito, where he might not see as much Kendrick, but he's gonna see a lot of Drake on his shit. You know what I mean? On my timeline, I try to double tap everything just so that I see everything because research purposes. So it's like I'll see a little bit of everything, but it's like it's definitely person to person algorithmic shit to where once that Friday it drops at midnight, if you don't press play, it came and went because no one is telling you.
Right.
or like we would have back in the day, we would have Facebook, where Facebook is still a little more balanced, where you have those Facebook groups, those meeting grounds to have conversations about music and whatnot. But Facebook ain't what it used to be, so it's like you don't have that. So like it feels like albums are coming and going because we're not being fed the right way. There's no neutral party. Like there needs to be like a hip. That's why I keep saying there needs to be a rap show. Like we need a weekly rap. I know we got our platforms. You got us. You got Culture United. You know what I mean? You got the whole
but others. The platforms are also they also fall victim to the algorithm. You know, so
You're right.
Or they just don't discuss music.
That's too. You see Ebro and 50 bullshitting. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you know what's annoying about it? I know we gonna talk about. Of course, we're gonna talk about the game this week, and we're gonna talk about Ransom. We got to talk about Dr. Dre, AI. But this conversation that we didn't plan on having, I think it's important because I don't think people or the powers that be fully grasp what people actually want. They think they so caught up on an algorithm and just feeding specific algorithms. They don't realize that people want almost basic shit. You know what I mean? They want a platform that just like a nigga like Speedy, who does all them interviews, that just does like a show. He's not affiliated with nobody. He's just a host, and he's telling you game dropped this weekend, Ransom dropped in the middle of the week. This is what's going on in rap. You should listen to that. And then pull up some tweets from all over, pull up some posts from all over social media. This is what the people are saying so that they can feed the news. We need a hip-hop news cycle, if you will. We got Fox News, we got NBC News. We need something that just reports the news so that it's not about, because things academics can't be the number one source for hip-hop if he's clearly picking a side. He's not a neutral party. He doesn't report the news fairly. You know what I'm saying? You got all them West Coast platforms. They not going to report the news fairly. So respect to them. But it is what it is. Everybody's in this side choosing thing. We do it, Jamie Jane, but we're not big enough to control the conversation the way it needs to be controlled. You feel what I'm saying? That's us being a lot of humility in that. We could pretend and be like, yeah, we know niggas know who we are, but that white kid in Wisconsin's not watching the Rap Roundtable. You dig what I'm saying? So I think there needs to be a neutral platform. Even in sports, they keep talking about, oh, yo, LeBron. A lot of people don't want to talk about the Lakers. They want to know what's happening in whatever conference or in sports, who the best team is, who's going to win the championship. They don't want to just keep talking about the star players. So there needs to be a neutral party. You know what I'm saying?
It does. You know what I mean? On all levels. Yeah.
Hit like, hit subscribe, tell a friend, spread the word so we can get the Rap Roundtable to that point where, you know what I mean, we can start making those waves.
Right. And even that's a great point. Even us, right? We can be looked upon as that for like the over underground, right? For what's really the cloth, right? There should be that in every weight class. Cause I'm thinking, as you saying it, Jov, at one age, that might have been 106 in Park for me. At one age, that might have been Rap City for me. You know what I mean? At another age, it might have just been Funk Flex on the radio. So like
Yo MTV Raps.
Raps.
If you get to a certain age, you know?
Right. So on multiple levels, there needs to be a clear source of clear of bias. This is just what the people like. This is just what's going on.
Right.
I agree with that,
It don't even got to be long. A half-hour program, and then the thing is, because things are getting a little more regional, you do by regional. Whatever the popping region is, they get that A block, you know what I mean? Whatever's happening in Atlanta or whatever happened in Texas. Right. This is the new music's out here. This is the interview he did. This is what he had to say. Boom, next segment, New York, next segment, Cali, and then just report the news. And then go away. They don't even got to be on camera. It could just be a voice talking. You dig?
And don't be afraid to take a chance. You know what I mean? Because like a lot shit. Back to Ebro, a lot of motherfuckers just giving you what's hot. You know, always playing like, yo, this is top 40, this is top 20, this is top 10. You know what I mean? Take a chance on something that people may not know about. Play it a couple times. You know what I mean? Give it a chance to catch on. You know, you don't just gotta just keep regurgitating the same shit that people already told you they like. You know what I mean? Give them a chance to find something new that they might like.
Right. Because ultimately what the people want is just unbiased reporting, right? The battle, a lot has been made about what the battle brought out in the fans, right? How the standery has increased by levels unseen. That happened to the platforms as well. The standery within the platforms got exposed due to the battle, and so now we're in a place where half people don't believe one side of the coin, the other half don't believe the other side of the coin. We need to unite, guys. Come on.
That's the blowback of the battle, to where even your favorite platforms who do a good job of being as neutral as possible, they also have put that line in the sand as well. So I think there needs to be, like Hudson just said it perfectly, just an informational platform.
Simple.
You know what I mean? That's it. Informational platform, not here to entertain, just here to inform. That is it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very simple. And I think that will go a long way towards helping bridge those gaps of what came, what went, that kind of usurps algorithms. Information always usurps the algorithm at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
I still remember that that time in a group chat when Rome Streets dropped 96 Naughty Windbreaker, and we dropped it in the group chat. Again, we're not going to talk whether it's Dini, it was me, whatever. We dropped it in the group chat, and we was like, oh shit, this is fresh. We never heard of Bro before, but this is fresh. That's the type of energy like I wish we would see more of on these platforms, on these algorithms, on Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Like, yo, I just heard this shit. Shit is fresh. Listen to it.
Tap in.
Right.
Tap in. That's it. It's not enough of that in hip hop. Even if you think that Drake shit is fire, tap in. You think the Kenny shit fire? You think the whole shit fire? The Nas shit fire? Whatever. I'm just choosing opposing sides to give you what we're looking for. They're not here to tell you what they're just telling you what's going on in the space. We've been doing our best to do that. We're gonna continue to do that. But I would like one of these stations to figure that out and put it on TV. I'm telling you, that show, half hour, that would run up. Trust me. A lot of people want to know what's going on in music. They looking for that next thing. And for the labels that struggling, instead of pushing out nonsense, having a show like that would do wonders. Because still, at the end of the day, TV and radio still have impact. As much as they try to tell you it's not the case, those things carry real impact. It's just, if it's there and it's accessible, built-in audiences, BT want to do something besides show you Baby Boy, that'd be the best thing to do right there. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Flash only talking about the other channel. I mean, shout out to Bro. He had a YouTube short. That was a minute ago, maybe like a month ago. He had a YouTube short that did like 5 million views. At the time that I checked, it's probably at 10 million now. Who knows? But it wasn't him. It was just a random video that he posted that went crazy and got his subs up. So salute to Bro. We don't got no issues with him. We not delving into that. We told y'all what happened with that already. Bro created a whole false battle situation, tried to make us out to be assholes when we told a nigga no outright, flat out no, and then he went making video after video after video saying we was ducking him, and then when we finally said, yo, bro, get up out of here, all of a sudden he became the victim. So we're not doing that no more. All I'm saying is he got his video, it went crazy. You said 64,000 subs. Salute to that man. God blessed him with a video where it's not his face, it's just a random video, and he got his numbers up. We ain't mad at it, you know what I mean?
Nah.
We ducking him like Kendrick ducking Game.
Basically. Right. Nah, he not buying it. He got to come up, but if you got to always learn how to do the numbers. You taught each other that a long time ago. If you look at any video that has his face on it, it's still not going crazy. It's one video that's probably at 10 million views right now. A little short, a short, not even a video, a short that went crazy. I can't even hate on it. It went crazy, and it got him that bump. Salute. You know what I mean? It is what it is, though. Another thing I want to talk about. Maybe I'm an angry old man, but I gotta say something.
What's up?
This artist, Trim. I think Trim is really good. I think she is really talented, right?
Right.
But she sounds, her cadence anyway, and the voice changing is literally Nicki Minaj. Are we at that point now where we're just like that level of just copying and pasting? We're just there now. That's what we doing.
Sadly,
I heard there was some kind of issue with Nicki where she's trolling her on her new single. I don't know I haven't done the knowledge. I don't know anything about this artist. I think she's lyrically inclined because when you listen to the words, she got it. She can rap.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't take it seriously because that's Nicki.
It's like her whole career has been like a Nicki Minaj troll. I brought her up the last Young Rap segment. We had a little talk. We chatted about her. I can't say that you're wrong about anything you're saying. Like, it's difficult to listen to her and not say this woman sounds exactly like Nicki Minaj. Like, that's hard to enjoy. Maybe for the young folks that wasn't around for Nicki Minaj. You know what I mean? Because there might be some people we like that they said was biting. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it's jarring when listening, even more so than Thug with Wayne Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you did. I want to retort to something you said. Maybe back in our day, they might have been an artist too that maybe our elders might have said, "Oh, this rapper sounds like this old rapper that I used to listen to." Mm-hmm. The main example that comes off the top of my head is famously Russell Simmons said that he didn't want to sign Nas to Def Jam because Nas sounded too much like G-Rap, right? So this is something that has happened generationally. Like every generation has like an older rapper that influences a newer rapper, and then like anybody that was around for the older rapper like sees the similarities and is like, I can't really rock with that. However, this is to me a lot more blatant because while you could hear the influences of G-Rap in Nas, it wasn't like Nas copied G-Rap's speech impediment, for instance. You know what I mean? It's not like he like, you know, like if he really would have copied G-Rap flow for flow, cadence for cadence, impediment for impediment, like, you know, that lisp that he had, if he would have copied that, I would have been like, Nas is clearly biting G-Rap, but that's not what he did. You know what I mean? He took those influences and kept it moving, and then like he built on top of that. You know, we don't know how much this girl is going to build on top of this foundation, but so far she's biting everything off of Nicki Minaj. The cadence, the flow, the voices, the inflections, like the manner of
the ad-libs,
everything. The ad-libs, everything. You know what I mean?
It's nasty.
Different. It's different, man.
And it's more of a
go ahead, bro.
It's more of a lane for it to happen now because Nicki's Q rating is as low as it's ever been in her entire career, which is saying something because it's been on a downward slide for a while. But at this point, nobody even, or a lot of people in that, in that lane don't care to even defend Nicki Minaj. So maybe she feels like the lane is open. Like I could take her style. Nobody cared. Nobody's going to defend her. Maybe, and not just her, but the people involved in her career. Maybe that has a little bit to do with it as well.
The thing is, I like to see a young person, not from the tri-state, who can make words connect at a high level. I want to support that. I want to support that. But it's almost like when you watching an action movie, and Sin and I talk about movies all the time, and it's like it'd be that one thing that just take you out of the scene. Like, like the CGI was really bad here, kind of messed it up for me. It's like that's where I'm at. Where it's like, yeah, she nice, but it's like if I want to hear that, I listen to Nicki. I know she has an accent and it's tied into her South Carolina lineage, and that plays a role in her enunciation.
Right.
But the voice changing, the cadence, it's like, yo, hold on. Like, where's the originality at? I want to support
who's you?
Right.
Which part of you is you?
I want to support it. I really want to support that shit, bro. But it's like, because again, you don't see many young people in this era that are actually nice, that want to be nice. And she clearly wants to be nice. And she's kind of funny too. It's like, yo, she got that one thing I like in like good rappers. They're hilarious. They have a certain level of sarcasm, and they put it together, and it shines through. I mean, I'm gonna do the knowledge because I read some, Common Creep. I read some of the things, and they're saying there's some kind of issue that she has with Nicki where she's deliberately doing it. If that's the case, then I'll shut the hell up and I'll be prepared to be wrong. But if this is who you sound like and this is what it is going forward, then I can't get behind it. The same way like you have like Doechii is purely original. She's influenced sonically by certain people, and you can hear the sonical influences, but her style is her own. I want that for Trim the same way. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm landing with it at. But anyway, Game Drop Documentary 3. I don't know where this lands as far as like big releases. I know like the noise around him, I feel like the noise kind of like drowned out the album release. You know what I'm saying? But Documentary 3 is out, and
it's kind of on par for Game.
Yeah. And it's like, to our conversation about algorithms and coming and going, I felt like whether it was my personal timeline or the roundtable timeline, I didn't see a lot of people talking about the album. It seemed like the weekend was spent more Whack 100 on Adam 22. Why is it Drake sharing the single? Game at the release party talking about relationships and who he can't get on the phone with. But I'm not hearing a lot of music conversations. Even the chat. Normally the chat is good for coming in here and saying, yo, this album was hard. Tap in. Woo, woo, woo. I saw that for Ransom, but I haven't seen that for Game. So I'm like, where's the conversations at around the album? I know the album's a little bloated. Sure. But Game don't make bad albums. And this is coming from me. He don't make bad. He's not for me. But I don't think he has a whack album in his discography. So it's like, I'm kind of surprised that no one is talking about the music almost at all. Sincere, like, am I wrong on that? Have you seen music conversations with this Documentary 3?
Not really. Not the way I'm accustomed to seeing. Game has a really, really strong and loyal following, right? Like, ever since the documentary and Doctor's Advocate days, you know, all the way through Jesus Piece and the first documentary sequel, like people pause ahead of time, but like people go hard for Game. Like they really, you know, he has a very strong loyal fan base. As I feel like he should, you know, he's a lyricist. He's a great rapper. He has made great albums in the past. He's had hits. And you know, he's shown to be able to tackle certain topics thematically that, you know, separates him from other, you know, random spitters, right? Obviously, you know, he has his drawbacks. People have talked about his name dropping for years. But all in all, like, people respect him as a lyricist, an album maker, a hit maker, even though, you know, it's been a minute since he had like a hit, but, you know, wouldn't get far, you know, One Blood, you know, Hater to Love, all them joints, like those have stood the test of time. Them shits play right now in any spot. People are going to get excited for those songs, right? So it is surprising that, like, Documentary 3, a second sequel to his classic debut documentary, hasn't really made too many waves on Twitter and you know, on social media. And you know, you have to attribute it to the fact that, like, he's now too entrenched in this in 2004 season 3, you know, like, he's too entrenched in that storyline, in that saga now, where he's kind of like shoehorned himself into the storyline, you know, where it was originally just Kendrick and Drake, and then J. Cole, you know, popped in and popped out of the show. And now all of a sudden, season 3, Game wants to shoehorn himself into the storyline, and it just feels a little bit forced, you know? And we all know that there's some type of history, at least on Game side. If you let Game tell the story, there is history there between him and Kendrick Lamar, right? He was just a video of him was just circulating social media about him saying, yeah, he put Kendrick Lamar on his first mixtape, or at least it was Kendrick's first mixtape appearance, I think is what he meant. Took him on tour and he can't get him on the phone and blah, blah, blah. And why he won't talk to me and yada, yada, yada. Like, he really feels some type of way about it at this point. And because, and obviously, also him collaborating with Drake on this album and getting him on the hook for what feels like the first single on the album, the star power of both Kendrick and Drake have completely pause again, but have completely swallowed the hype for his album. It's like if you have two massive stars and then like one smaller star in a system, right? And like you have these two massive stars, the gravity of those two massive stars is going to just swallow the smaller star, right? And that's just how that's just gravity. That's just physics, right? That's science. So that's what I feel is happening with this album. I listened to the album. There's some strong joints on here, but for one, the album is just overlong, as is usually the case for a Game album. And two, it's very uneven, right? And so there's, other than like the Drake song, I don't see any other song here really being like, a possible hit. And if the Drake song didn't crack the charts, then I don't know what else on this album is going to crack the charts. So it's an amalgamation of a lot of circumstances that have kind of buried this Game album under what generally amounts to like bigger, more interesting stories, stories that people would rather talk about than the actual music he put out, and that's it's kind of unfortunate for Game.
Macito, I got a video clip I'm gonna play, but like, what are your thoughts on the situation before we get to the visual? You muted, gang. Muted.
Sorry, fellas. Sin making a lot of excellent points as usual. I'd count myself towards that, fan base of games that Sin is talking about. But listen, and I say Game is in a specific class of like 2000s MCs that I'm really, when I'm talking about the MCs that I grew up listening to, forming the type of things that I would like. Game is right in the middle of that. Right with the Lupes, right with the Rosses, the Pusha T's. Like, these guys were my favorite MCs growing up. You know what I mean? So I appreciate Game, but like Sin said, like, it's it's in the Kendrick Drake CU that's going on. This album kind of feels like a throwaway Agents of Shield episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that's happening in the background. It's something that's just and I mentioned those 2000s MCs, because that's the case with Lupe right now. Even Ross's album was a complete, what's going on with Drake rollout. You know what I'm saying? It seems like everybody in the game, unless you're like, even Cole, you know what I mean, is directly attached to this. Jay-Z directly attached. It seems like everybody that drops or comes out has to directly be attached to these two artists. And it is hard nowadays. Right now, Game is, no victim here. He's directly attached himself to this situation from the beginning. I'm upset about not being out in the pop out. Every other day there was a story about Drake. You know what I mean? I remember randomly he was posting album reviews. Like, Game is kind of placed himself in that position, right? kind of par for the course for him, because if I'm to remember correctly, his last couple mixtapes where Izzy dissing Kendrick was the main story behind it. His last album is, oh, he's dissing Eminem. So Game is kind of a victim of his own BS in that point. You know what I mean? He always feels like he has to be directly tied to some sort of controversy, but this ain't your regular controversy. Drake and Kendrick, their storylines, whether legit or not, like Kendrick hasn't even said a word. Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? The biggest story about this came from a podcast. Shouts to Justin Hunt and Stat Quo. You know what I mean? Without them doing what they did in breaking that story, also shout out to Moni, who was the first person to say that Drake and Game were in the studio. Haven't seen a lot of people mention that. But you know what I mean? The biggest story about this album came from a podcast, from a story where the guy you're talking about hasn't even said a word. Like, it's like 6 degrees of interest when it comes to Game right now. Like, I don't think anybody's actually interested in what he has going on. He has to directly attach himself to everything. And I don't know, because I mentioned Pusha T, even Pusha T with his Drake issues and his Kendrick verse is right entrenched in the issue, right? But what did the Clips do? They dropped music that was so good that you had to eventually get to the music. You know what I mean? It got away from the controversy. You remember the rollout there? Half of it was about Travis Scott. 2 months later, we didn't remember he was dissing Travis Scott on the album. So I'll say that Game, despite him being, you know, the superior MC he is, as you said, Joff, having a great discography, this output is not enough to get him away from the BS attached to it.
Great point on your end about the Clips, because once the album dropped, quite frankly, it was, this album is fire. Heat, pain, you dig? And it was just like, yo, we don't care about this. In fact, we was mad at Pusha T for even mentioning Travis Scott indirectly. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, the music has got to be there. Third World Child, there is no burnt bridge. Whatever happened with Moni was rectified the same week, 2 days later. Whole conversation. Y'all gotta stop living in the past.
Please stop.
y'all gotta stop living in the past. We rectified it. I came on here the following week and I told y'all we rectified it. I asked Moni to let y'all know that we rectified it. She was like, nah, she chose not to. That's why there's some confusion as to what they think it is and what it ain't. There is no issues with Moni. Like, we made super amends. It's not even like I can't, like, we came out of it better than we went into it. Put it that way. But yeah, bro, I think Game is, to your point, like, he's a victim of his own circumstance. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to stop creating these fires. We got to stop running into situations that don't amount to anything. You got to stop basically disqualifying yourself before you even get in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I always talk about losing your leverage. He lost his leverage once it became about a maybe issue with Kendrick Lamar. And it's like, I understand people got to put their album out and they got to play internet games and they got to do whatever. In this day and age, because we don't have a platform that's just talking about music, you dig what I'm saying? They got to play games to be in the algorithmic cycle. But back in the day, a rap beat for sell an album, yeah, but you still would do all your media, you would do all your press. I don't understand why people are not using the Clips model. Continue to do your press. Go platform to platform to platform to platform. Go do radio. You're a Game. You can do radio. Like, you're still a get. You know what I'm saying? A lot of artists can't say that. Game is still a get on the radio side. Go do your press and don't worry about the noise. Like, to me, the noise is like empty calories. It's like kind of like, you know, getting a bunch of triple doubles, but your team is like the 8th seed. You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean at the end of the day? How is it impacting winning? Like, to me, like, you playing these games is not impacting winning in a real way. So he has to move on from that. To your point, Hudson, yes, promote your product. That's it. I got a new album. It's a documentary 3. It's a third installment of a successful series of albums for Game. We shouldn't be talking about that. We shouldn't be tap dancing around a 2-year-old issue where you pulling in Drake and you didn't even get a verse. You got him saying no breaks, 2 words repeatedly. That's it. You didn't get the verse.
Shit was probably sitting in his hard drive for like mad long.
That's a
to pull it
fact.
out.
And it's not. And let's be clear, it's not a bad song either. I like the song. It's cool. It's a cool car song. Right. It's a cool car song. That's all it is. My brakes work. I'm gonna hit the brakes in New York City, but he loses his leverage. Then he does things like this where the weekend the album drops. You're in a room full of people. I like the red lighting, nice ambiance for obvious reasons, but then you're talking about things that are unrelated to music. So let's get into that real quick.
So, I put Kendrick in places that, I wanted to be, that I wish niggas would have put me. And I didn't ask for nothing in return. Top Dog, I'm saying this and I know it's gonna go to the internet. Top Dog wanted to give me half a TV. I told him, I got Black Wall Street. It's good, bro. I want to see you, man. You do you good, make that shit bigger than everything. And he did. So I got love for niggas. And also, when this nigga Drake came in the game, he adapted to me, homie. Like, we got close. Drake is on my albums way back then. He on Good Girls, Bad Girl on, nigga, album that came out in fucking 2009, 10 or some shit like that. I'm not I'm not no type of, I don't flip-flop on my friends, son. I don't flip-flop on my friends. If Drake is in town, he got a show, and they want to go, and I call them, the nigga put them where they want to be, and all their friends, and take care of my back on a nigga like that. And I don't want a nigga that I help usher into the game, meaning like Kendrick, and Top, and all of that. I don't want them niggas to feel away about my decisions about what I do as a real nigga, because I was a real nigga to y'all, I'm a real nigga to him, I'm a real nigga to everybody in this room. And if anybody in here that knows me, that's my friend, from Kyle, and Louie, the Phonics, to Mike and Keys, to RJ, to HD, to Sonic, to DJ Nine, to Charisma. If anybody feel like I ain't been real with you, here's the mic. Come tell me I haven't been a real nigga with you since the day I met you. Nobody ain't gonna do that. So it's like all the capping, all the disrespect on my nigga, you got to be fucking kidding me after the work I put in. And so, what the documentary 3 is, that shit, that wasn't for them. They good. This one just graduated from college. This one ain't got, like, my kids is good. I'm not doing it for them no more. They straight. They good off the residuals from the old shit. This album, the documentary 3, is so niggas can stop playing with me. Yeah. Don't play with me. 21 years, 22 years in this shit. It ain't a rapper on this motherfucking planet that don't know that I'm with all the bullshit. And so, it's the pen, it's not just the pen game, right? It's not just the pen, that shit. I studied it so much. I studied rap like I was studying to be a doctor, so you cannot play with me there. I will find a flow, and I will find the pocket, and I will annihilate you. Especially if it's your own style and not mine. And then, as far as being a real nigga and holding down the West Coast, cut the shit. Cut the shit. I call Face with my own homies to take Nipsey on tour.
Only nigga holding it.
Hey, look, I call Face with my own homies to take Nip on tour. But I can't seem to get in touch with Black Sam to holler at him though. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I put Kendrick on his first mixtape. I took Kendrick on tour. I show Kendrick nothing but love. But I can't get on the phone with a nigga. I ain't gonna call a nigga every day. I ain't no hoe.
You muted, gang. Jarv, you
muted, Jarv.
Fuck. Man, being responsible, overly responsible. So it's like, Besito, we know you got to slide pretty soon. So it's like, I'll give you the first opportunity to respond to that. Like, once again, like he's dabbling in things and putting his toe in water and things. And it's like, what does this have to do with the album? You can't get on the phone with Black Sam. Maybe in his mind, he got to make it public to get that phone call answered. In the public space, sometimes those are the games that need to be played in order to get the results you're looking for. But what does that have to do with the music, bro? Why is your whole rollout, your whole everything about noise that has nothing to do with this body of work that you released on Friday? And now Macito's muted.
Now Mace is muted.
Now I'm muted. Responsibility, guys. You know what I mean? Please, sirens. He graduated from that 50 Cent model, man. That there has to be controversy. There has to be some sort of issue. There has to be like, a main point of why you'll come to this album. That's what fucked up Drillmatic. Drillmatic's whole thing was, oh, he's dissing Eminem. And even during the review, we weren't able to get around that to compliment what I thought at the time was a good album. And it's the same thing with this, right? It's directly the whole entire time you're listening to the album, you're like, okay, he dropped it literally right after Third Verse Podcast uncovered what was going on behind the scenes, right after Top lets that quote know, right after all of this controversy. So you cannot help but listen to the album for Kendrick disses, for Drake mentions, for some sort of alluding to what relationships he has going on in the West Coast. Why is he the loner that they speak about on the intro? I think that's the Breakfast Club speaking about how he's like the loner of the West. He has no crew. He has no people that are with him. You can't help but think about that the entire time. It takes away from very strong music like Meet the Parents, right? Like the intro. There's some good music on here. There's like the game, like his as a lyricist, as an MC, he still can put in work. But it's like half of the time, because I'm not the Kendrick fan coming in. I know if a guy had been alluding to dissing Drake the whole time, I'm probably gonna be listening to the album like, all right, get through this shit. You know what I mean? So I know Kendrick fans are listening to this shit with halfway not even wanting to like it. And you're fucking up your own fan base with that, because I'm sure that's a lot of cross fans right there, Kendrick and Game fans. So it's like, and then you get to this, right? Like you say, Jav, not even a real total kind of summation of what he wanted to achieve with this album. Where were you going? How long have you been working on this music? Give us some Easter eggs, something about, why you made this song, something about the music. He crying about shit that, ultimately is just gossip in our eyes, right? Because still nobody has said what the fuck the issue is, right? Other than Top saying, hey, he did that shit with Drake and Compton. You know what I mean? We haven't heard from Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like Drake, like you say, got to get coerced into, you know what I mean? He got bullied by academics and Whack 100 to even post the album. So it's like, Game, this feels rushed. Ultimately, I think that's why we get a lot of those one verse. I don't know if y'all noticed, 1 and 2 verses on the songs of the album sounded very rushed. And with this explanation, with him crying, with the shit he had to say, yeah, it seemed like a cash grab. You threw your most popular name of your most popular album out. You threw it right after your name is at the top of the news for, the first time in a little minute. And now you can't even really give us anything about the music. How it make you feel? You speaking about your kids. Tell us about the music in relation to your kids. Were they here for the recording of this? Do you have any music on there? I seen his kids doing a lot of photo shoots. You know what I mean? Because they're grown. I know his daughter just turned 16. Salute to him. Looks like a great dad. But there's no connection to the music. And he's not even trying himself. It doesn't even sound like he has a connection to the music.
And that's the sad part about this internet shit, where it's like everything has to be an internet play. All right, did the verses drum up some Kendrick controversy? Put the album out because I'm a clickable item right now. Credit to T.I. In the middle of the 50 Cent feud, he didn't rush the album out. He let it play out how it's supposed to play out. He comes from the old guard, much like Game, but Game, this whole thing is like an internet play. I didn't even think about that angle until you said it, Macito, about like mashing the album together, calling the documentary 3. It gives play. Since the rap side, what are your thoughts on this video and that whole rollout tactics?
So I want to pick up where Mace said.
Chat. All right.
We say Mace.
Appreciate y'all.
I want to pick up where Mace said that Game graduated from, and I'm paraphrasing, but graduated from the 50 Cent school of like drama. Right, there always got to be some drama. There always got to be some sort of conflict, or beef, or what have you. And to a certain extent, I agree with that. Actually, to a large extent, I agree with that. The problem is, the Game is not 50. 50 is a heartless, soulless motherfucker. 50 does not give two single fucks about anything. You don't like him, fuck it. You don't want to do a song with him, fuck you. You know, you don't want to, talk to him on the phone. Who gives a shit, right? 50 would never in a million years go on any platform or any stage or anything of the sort and say, yo, why won't such and such talk to me? How come I can't do business with this, that, and the third? You know what I mean? That's not who 50 Cent is. Like 50 Cent is as cold as they come, And I say that with respect, right? That's the brand that he built up, and God damn it, if he hasn't lived up to that brand his entire career. You would never see him go on stage being like, yo, I want to talk to this artist, they won't talk to me. That's wild, right? And so the problem with Game for me is that, yeah, he wants to carry on this sort of like 50 Cent G Unit, fuck the world type energy, even be farther back than that, Tupac, fuck the world energy, But when it comes down to it, we like time and time again, he shows how sensitive he actually is, how much things actually really bother him and get under his skin, And I also say that with the utmost respect, because there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. Just be your true sensitive self. Don't make songs like motherfucking what's the song? I Won't Be Afraid. That's one of the illest songs on the album, the joint with Black Thought. Then the closer, Game Recognizes Game, you know what I mean, where he's talking to his older self and he's talking about like, the things that he would tell his younger self to avoid. Don't do this, spend more time with your children, like that sort of thing. Like, be more of that, but so much of the album is full of just like posturizing and gang banging and look, not your lifestyle is your lifestyle, but to a certain extent, I feel like Game wants to portray this lifestyle that's not really his, or at least not his anymore, right? And the person that he actually is, there's glimpses of that in the album, but he wants to keep posturizing like he's still this, Compton City blood who's willing to like, lay you on your back at the drop of a dime. And that to me, for the Game, as far as he himself, I think it's a little played out at this point, right? And so when you see him on that stage and he's complaining about, I can't get Black Sam on the phone, I can't get Kendrick on the phone. Yeah, maybe because he sees the same thing that a lot of us see. And that's that, you're a great artist, you're a great lyricist, but you're also, kind of sensitive, but don't really want to own up to your real self. And you keep, carrying on these antics in a way to sort of, maintain an image that's not really your real actual personality. And they probably see through that the way a lot of us see through that.
I don't really want to delve too much into that aspect of it because, we're just not there. We don't know. Once again, West Coast politics. But what I will say is pretty damning that a guy like Black Sam and Kendrick Lamar are not picking up your calls. These guys, as far as the public eye is concerned, they not really with nothing. They not in the mix. They out the way. Like they do their business, and they get out the way. So for those guys to not take your call, That's pretty loud. Now, granted, he shared that with us, and he credit to him, he wants the conversation for whatever that conversation might be about. But if they're not picking up that call, they got a reason. That's just me, my outside perspective looking in. Especially when you think about, rest in peace, Nip, when Wack was going on podcast saying that, and Wack was games manager. I don't know if he still is. I don't really know. Maybe chat, let me know. Is Wack still game manager? At one point, Wack was saying he had footage of Nipsey Hussle in a precarious situation. So why would Black Sam want to take that call if Game is not, at least outwardly to my knowledge, saying, yo, chill with that? And then whatever happened with Kendrick is a very intentional guy. So if he's like, yo, I'm not talking to bro, and there's that bar that I kept seeing be repeated all weekend about, I'll cut my granny off if she don't see how I see it, can he let you know it don't take much, and when you do cross that line, it's over with? So, brother, if they don't want to talk to you, you feel me? Then you gotta move on. And then to the album of it all, not the best album. It's like a solid. I mean, for Game, it's like a solid 6 out of 10. But it's like you spend so much of your equity, your online equity, because you know what it is. What I've learned about the internet and the algorithm too. That's been a theme of this episode. Is that you have like a certain amount of time before the album comes out to grab everybody's attention. Then post-album is up to the album to really hold the attention, or at least have a record to where it could carry it. Like, for instance, we always use the Clips as the most recent example. The Clips gave us So Be It. Even if it did have that unnecessary Travis diss, that being your lead record, hard. Like, all right, we were already anticipating it. Then when the album plays, you have Tyler the Creator on there giving you a fire verse, Kenny on there wilding, Stove on there wilding, the album cuts, the sequencing, Pain. We got a really great album, a classic. That increased the lifespan of the attention span of the album. Whereas Game, you use up so much of that attention span pushing whatever rhetoric, or at the least what I think it was, he threw like a little attention grenade. I'm going to cause a little chaos. I'm going to shake up the table. Because the thing is, there's no real clear answers to anything, right? But it's enough noise around it to where, all right, we can listen to the album. We're going to tap in. Maybe he's going to diss him. Maybe he's not going to diss him. Even up until today on LA Monster, the front end of the weekend, he was saying, oh, he's not dissing. It's not about that. But today, somebody posted another Instagram comment where, like, Game is using this GIF right here, and the person suggesting that Game is dissing Kendrick. So you talking out of both sides of your mouth. Then you put out this Drake record. You all this anticipation for 2 words from Drake. When you had that record with Larry June is a guy who's an ultimate vibe guy. Once again, a guy that I'm not really big on. But the Larry June song was right there. It is the end of the summer. You telling me you could have rolled that out as your single? Or if you're going to really lean into this Drake thing, why you didn't make Drake the full single with a visual, with a video at? So it's like there's so many different angles to where it's like, ultimately, it just feels like Game is wasting my time as a fan of music. It's too much nothing maneuvers and not enough heavy shots being landed with music, with an interview where he comes out and says, yo, this is what it is. All right, you could say Kendrick didn't answer my phone and Black Sam didn't answer my phone. What you bringing up Black Sam for? This man is minding his business. Black Sam don't got nothing to do with nothing. We didn't hear Black Sam name the entire lead up to this album. Now you bringing him into it? Tell us about your issues with Kendrick. Correction, tell us about your non-issues with Kendrick. Add some levity to that. You love name dropping on the album. Say his name on the album. Talk about where you at. Talk about the emotions you feel, because clearly there's some kind of emotional vitriol there. There's so many artistic angles you could take. There's so many marketing angles you could have taken to make this album make a lot more sense, as opposed to essentially wasting the fans' time throwing a attention grenade. To Reed's point, shout out Reed My Soul in the chat. Essentially, this whole album is one big wave of clickbait. We don't got time for that in hip-hop.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem, though, in saying Kendrick's name on the album and like really delving into whatever his issue is that there is like his issue is not a real issue. It's not a real man-to-man issue. It's not a real street issue.
We don't know that though. We don't know.
From everything that we've heard and that he's told us and everything surrounding it, it doesn't sound like a real issue. It sounds like, all right, if we put the pieces together, you know, Game brought Drake into Compton back in 2016 or whatever, right? Kendrick felt the type of way about it. Probably assessed, you know, the relationship, assessed Game's personality, and was like, this is not a serious guy, bro. This guy's not serious, right? This is not a serious person, right? And basically just said, you know, I don't need this person in my life. And again, and we talked about this like a couple of weeks back. Like I resonate with that. I relate to that. You know what I mean? That same bar that said what Kendrick says, you know, I cut my grandma off if she don't see it like I see it. I relate to that. When I heard that bar, I was like, yeah, talk that shit, Kendrick. Because I relate to that. I don't need extra people in my life. I don't need superfluous people in my life. You know what I mean? And so if that is the case, right? And Game is now you know, he's coming to that realization, you know, he's dealing with that now, he's reconciling with that now. If it's an issue to him, that's fine. But it's not an issue. I don't think it's a deep enough issue to anybody else. And so for him to now go on this stage and be like, yo, these people won't take my phone call. I don't know what the issue with Nip or Black Sam is or none of that. You know what I mean? Right. I'm only going off of, you know, the history with Kendrick and Drake and all that. You know, it's just like, yo, just suck it up. You know, it wasn't that. All right, sorry, pause. Sorry. But just deal with it. Okay. Just deal with it. Deal with the repercussions like a man. If the cookie didn't crumble the way that you wanted it to, oh fucking well. Just fucking deal with it. You're not gonna, if I'm Kendrick, you're not gonna fucking pressure me into picking up the phone for you. That's gonna make me pick up the phone for you way less than ever before. You know? So, like, what are we doing here? Just be a man about shit and move on.
And the thing is, the more like I'm talking to you, talking to Mesito about this, the more this is starting to feel like guys got together in a room and devised a plan to how are we going to market this next drop? How are we going to put it together to drum up enough attention without causing too much ruckus as far as diss songs or rap beef? Because I think when you think about all the parties that are involved and they're internet savvy, including Game is one of the more internet savvy rappers in the league. Let's call it what it is. They understand. What do you mean? Fly shit only. Expand on that. What do you mean by that includes Stat Quo? What includes Stat Quo? But I wonder if they drum this whole thing up and as a way because they know that people are gonna eat it up. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be, oh, this is the next thing. Let's go over there. Like they know how humans work and they know what they're looking for. They know what drug. They know what strand they want. That sour. Let's give them imitation sour. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm starting to wonder if this was just a real grandiose play of we're gonna do this, and this. You know what I mean? Get Top to say this, Stat to say that, drum up interest. But thing is, enough interest, but not enough to offend anybody involved. That's what I'm starting to wonder. Because it's like they know we're gonna eat it up. They know the pie. Look at how much there's so many West Coast podcasters that I wasn't even privy to that just popped up on my timeline over the last 3-4 weeks because of this situation. So it's like, as far as marketing goes, I guess you could say it's genius, but it's like a tweet you put out today on our platform, Negative Aura. I think it had negative impact. They thought I was talking about Drake with negative aura. Nah, I mean Iceman dropped. I'm not playing that game with Drake no more. The Iceman did what it did and is doing what it's doing. The numbers is there. Big shout out to the Drake fans. I don't think the stimulus is as impactful as it once was.
Right.
And that's what we've always said, that Drake's impact is not always about stats, and we're talking about his overall totality. He did take a hit. It is what it is. That's okay. Iceman still is doing stupid numbers. He's going to drop again. So on, so forth, right? But with the situation, it created a lot of negative energy from the viewing and listening audience, where it's just like, if you're inducing eye rolls as opposed to intrigue, you've lost the plot.
Right. Exactly. And this is where, I see how, how Game and Drake have the relationship that they do, because like, Drake does a lot of eye rolling shit, and Drake is also one to, have this chip on his shoulder, like everything that I've done, and I still don't get that specific respect. You know what I mean? Whatever that specific respect is from the specific people or the specific clause or the specific, nucleus of the culture, they're itching for that. Yeah. And Drake feels that he doesn't have it, and he never truly got it. And I guess to a certain extent, Game also feels like he's never got it, or he had it and then they gave it to Kendrick, and then that he forgot about him. You know what I mean?
The Game and Drake are two guys who, and Nick, I see a comment about Top. You might be right. I'll be clear. I'm not accusing. What you heard me just now say was me strictly speculating because of how I'm receiving the information and how the music and how everything is played out. I'm not making no accusations. Please don't misconstrue me. You know what I mean? I don't know what Top did or he didn't do. I'm just telling you how it's looking to me from my perspective. But Game and Drake play too many games to where there's a certain level of seriousness that you need from your rappers. We don't need you to be serious all the time, but there's too much BS around them. Again, we always say, put all your cards on the table, name your rappers, and then look around at their whole situation. And then you'll see who the guys who we take super seriously and why we take them super seriously, and the guys that we kind of pshaw, kind of scoff at. It's because of the antics and the noise that's around their name that make us as people take them less seriously. And Game has done a lot of things to make us take him less seriously. Drake has done a lot of things and continues to do a lot of things that make him take him less seriously. So that's all it is. And then you got the two of them getting together, linking up. So to the public's eyes, like, of course these two niggas is linking up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
And again, we always fall back on this. The social media age, it's a gift and a curse. It's a double-edged sword. I don't want to get in my Kendrick fandom bag, but
you sure you don't? I don't think it's difficult for you.
But again, we keep pointing at how we don't see Kendrick, we don't hear from Kendrick unless it's time to put out some music and we hear the music. Only him and his immediate family and kin know what conversations they're having behind closed doors. It's quite possible Kendrick might be having certain conversations that a lot of us would look at or listen to or read into and be like, Kendrick, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why are you talking like this? Like, but we don't hear or see them.
We're not privy to that.
We're not privy to that. He keeps that in its place, right? These other motherfuckers out here are living their entire lives on social media for better or for worse, and they think that is the only way to be an artist and have a presence and promote yourself in this day and age, right? And I'm here to tell you, find a new way, find a different way, please, for your sake and for our sake.
Hey, look, That's gospel right there. Because at the end of the day, the mystery is still a sell in 2026. Don't let social media fool you at all. The mystery is still a sell. You know, you want the intrigue as opposed to having all the answers. You know what I mean? Because the blowback of not being mysterious is when you do get exposed for being whatever, it makes you look even more crazy, because that means all of the openness that you've been showing the entire time was contrived. So it's like it's like a double lie. You know what I mean? Because you carefully curated what you wanted niggas to see the whole time you was this. So just be mysterious. Stay out the way. Every now and again, post a little something on the socials. Just, you know, what is it called again? Like a not wellness check, but it's like proof of life posts. You know what I mean? Stay out the way. Look at all the goats and how they move. Even all of the boomers, if you will, they stay out the way. You don't see Nas like that. You don't see Hov like that. Hov don't be on the gram. You know what I mean? Kenny doing the same thing. A lot of stars do the same thing. Or if they do pop out, they start popping out when it's time to promote some shit. And as soon as they're done, they go right back into their lair until it's time to give you more or whatever they need to promote. The end. You know what I mean? Or you want to see Jay-Z, you got to watch HBO next. We ain't really seen Hov too much since the Yankee Stadium, if you think about it.
Shit.
Occasionally coming out, a little photo of him coming out the rock. We're not even getting the contrived autograph joints no more. He's staying completely out the way. You know what I'm saying? So like, we gotta wait till October to get the next Hov thing, or when they do the shows in LA. Pardon me, I think in September they're gonna do the shows. So there'll be another wave of Jay-Z posts from the show, and then he's out the way until the HBO special. So stay out the way, stop contriving, make good music. Because as we know, no matter what the argument is, good music usually prevails. Good music usually carries the argument at the end of the day.
And here's the thing. There is really good music on this Game album.
Yes.
This is buried in a 24 joint track list. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go searching for this shit. The intro, phenomenal. Fire. Well, what's the other joint? The joint with Leon Thomas, that should be a single. You know what I mean? At this point, Leon Thomas is a cheat code. Yeah. Like, you put Leon Thomas on the record, out of here. You know what I mean? So it's called Run It Up. That shit gonna run up. I really feel like that's gonna run up. And I like the fact that Game let Leon cook for like half the song before he came in. I like that. You know what I mean? Got the joint with Black Thought. One of my favorite joints, Black Thought, he blacked on it. You know what I mean? There's a lot. Sticks is 20 Deep with Kanye West, where you got Kanye sounding like classic Kanye. No, is that the Kanye joint? I think that's a Kanye joint. Oh, no. I'm sorry. 20 Deep is the one with the recycled running sample, which I like, but, you know, it's the same sample. What's the joint with Kanye? Oh, 40 Nights. 40 Nights with Kanye sounding like classic Kanye. There's a lot of good music on it. Do You Love Me? Do You Love Me? Another fire joint. Fire. Like, there's so much fire, but 24 songs is entirely too goddamn long.
Now, for a fact, bro, because attention spans, but at the same time, I think he empties the hard drive pause each and every time when he puts these albums out. But it's like he's an A-tier rapper, and you hear it throughout the project time in and time out. Like, he hits different pockets, he cares about the craft, he does what's necessary to cook up, and you know, I'd rather, especially right now where rap is, you being an A-tier rapper could do a lot more favors for you than all the other extras. We got Deanie in the building. What's good, bro? Real quick before we about to change the topic, but just give us a couple minutes on your thoughts about the Game album and the noisy weekend he had. Can't hear you, bro.
You muted.
You know, every time he come through, he plug up and then the shit don't be having no sound. Anyway, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Log in to All Things Rap Roundtable. We were talking for an hour and 9 minutes on this. We haven't reminded y'all to remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on social media, log in to All Things Rap Roundtable. But yeah, man, it's like you want Game to be successful because again, like I want to take him seriously. I don't want to immediately think back to all the other BS that's tied to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that and that's exactly the thing. Because like so somebody mentioned Meet the Parents. That's another standout joint. The Game and Conductor. You know, there was another joint. Oh no, that might have been different. But yeah, like I was telling Mace before we went live, like we were talking behind the scenes. 24 joints in 2026 is egregious, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, we back in 2018, you know, the Kanye formula with like 7-8 solid joints. I was thinking that was gonna catch on. I was low-key hoping that would catch on. It would like I think it would force artists to like really make hard-nosed decisions. Like, what are the absolute strongest songs that we made for this project? If it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't maybe go woo, or if it doesn't give me goosebumps, like, let's cut it, right. You know? Right. But 24 joints is crazy, man. If this would have been a Daytona style album, this would have gone incredible. Yeah.
Or like a little 14 piece. You know what I mean? Cut it by like 10. Sweet spot. Pause. It'd have been right there. You keep all the heaters on there, and you move on. You know what I'm saying? Deanie, do we got some sound for you now?
Well, we wavy.
We wavy. What are your thoughts on the Game album, real quick? Like, you don't gotta spend too much time on it because we about to change the topic. What are your thoughts on Game's project and, you know, the kind of weekend he had where it was less about the music and more about the noise?
So close, but so far. I ain't gonna lie. I thought the whole Kendrick thing would make people care, and then I look at the track list and I don't really see no dots. So I guess people didn't care that much. You know what I'm saying? There is some good joints on the album. We got to stop acting like Game is not like an elite rapper though. I know we make fun of Game, like nice. it just, and I hate to say this, Game. If you see me in the streets, don't come after me. It just, my nigga he just goofs too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the when you do something too much, you just kind of become that thing. And he's kind of like become like hip hop's nicest goof. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you're not even judging literally just on music anymore. You're just judging by all the other outlandish things that are happening. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like him speaking on everybody and everybody ignoring him, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, put yourself in a human's position. You know, if you put a nigga on to a couple things, not saying he made Kendrick's career, but if you put Kendrick in the light, gave him a light, mind you, the shit with Nipsey, he blood Nipsey's Crip. So I could assume there would have been somebody would have had some issue with that. You know what I'm saying? He said he fought his homies over that. This is Game saying that. I don't know. I wasn't there with the homies. But I just know some shit like that, especially on that side of town. You see what happened to RIP to the young homie, the football player who just had on a Houston Astros hat. That was enough to get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I can imagine working with the ops essentially would do in that same shit. So shout out to Game. Say what you want about him. He's a pillar in the game. He's a pillar in West Coast legend, you want to say. But just too much goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all said 14 tracks. I'm thinking 10. You know? It should have just been a clean 10. Took the joints that mattered. Take the Leon Thomas joint. You know, I even let you end it with the Marsha Ambrosius joint. I like that joint. There's a Kanye joint. Throw the Party Next Door joint. I'm not the biggest fan of the Hater to Love It, but that's Game's prime joint.
No. The Party Next Door joint. No.
I'm allowed it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Fake ass Drake song. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I need a Drake affiliation.
No, it's Party Next Door.
No,
bro. That's
gonna be the.
That's an OVO sound.
I know. But we everybody's gonna know it as the Drake style. You know.
Of course.
No. We don't need or want that from Game.
Like, am I gonna be spinning no breaks back in the house all day? Probably not. But I heard it outside on the speaker. It sounded alright. You know what I'm saying?
It did what it was supposed to do. It's a little slap. It's not a big slap. It's a little slap.
It's cool. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He didn't really even need to have Drake on that because the whole commotion is the Drake thing, which he's not even really on the song like that. You know, but shout out to Game. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the album. I thought it could have been chopped a lot. I respect the lyrical ability. He still raps his ass off. You know what it's like?
You know what,
yeah.
Deanie? I didn't bother saying, and before that, Macito enough.
Mm-hmm.
AZ Chike supposedly took his verse off the album. What did you think about that move?
Yo,
that was a very loud move by AZ Chike.
I don't want to say nut hugging. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there. But I'm like, bro, like I don't do Kendrick fuck with these niggas like that, bro. Like
we
that.
don't
like
know.
that.
Let's not get to speculating. We don't know.
I'm talking about enough to like deny yourself off. See, when Dave East pulled his shit back off 38 Special, I said, I get it. That's just man's in them. You feel me? I sit at the couch with this nigga every other day recording the show. I get it. But I don't know if Kendrick be around these niggas like that for these niggas to have these staunch, demanding feelings like that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know. But if he felt that was worth it, I guess he felt that was worth it. Shout out to AZ. I like AZ Shay. That's the craziest part about it. I just feel like that. Why get involved in that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sid, real quick, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm a little torn. I feel what Dini's saying. Like this isn't really his fight, you know. But if he does feel that strongly about it, and who knows what's going on behind the scenes, maybe they got more hit. AZ and Kendrick might have more work in the tuck that's going to come out, and maybe he's assessing to himself, I got this one song with Game, but I got these other joints with Kendrick. Like, who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I'm just recklessly speculating. But without the reckless speculation, I do kind of feel like this is not his fight. So he could have done this joint with Game and then done more joints with Kendrick and been fine. Like we've lived through eras where we've seen rappers and artists do songs with rivaling acts, right? So, if it's been done before, it could be done now. But he felt that convicted about it. Who am I to question it?
Niggas is terrified of Kung Fu Kenny, bro.
I think it's terrified. What was that?
Danny, you're killing us. Go ahead, Sid. What were you saying? Not terrified?
I don't think it's terrified. I think it's out of respect. I think it's a level of respect. Whether it's warranted, whether like, the respect requires, or whether AZ feels like the respect requires him to get off of this Game song, that's where I'm like, is it really that serious? It might not be that serious, right? But I don't think it's fear. I don't like Game doesn't. I'm sorry, Kendrick doesn't induce fear in artists unless they go against him, or unless they rap against him. Like, I think it's out of respect. AZ wasn't saying no egregious shit about Kendrick. It wasn't that.
It wasn't. That's my point. So, like, are Game and Kendrick true ops? Is it like beef? No. You know what I'm saying? And Kendrick don't even look at him worth rapping too. So it's definitely not on some smoky shit like lyrically or like, I'm not even adding like street shit. I don't even see that happening between them. Those are two just out of world guys. You know what I'm saying? In terms of music, I just don't think like the energy between those two is warranted for him to pull a verse. I could be wrong though. I just don't think so.
What I think it is, just based on the little I do know about LA politics, but I do know that whereas, maybe New York, we're a little bit more relaxed with certain things. Like, if it ain't directly us, you can do what you want to do as long as you're not saying nothing about us. Sometimes it's the opposite, but a lot of times, do what you want. But if you get on that song and you mention me or you try to be on some funny shit, then it could go a different type of way. But I do understand from just the little I know about LA politics that optics go a longer way out west than it does out east. So it might be a situation where it's like, how would AZ Chike, he looking at it like, how would I look being on an album with a guy that's using my man's name in a way that might be a little wacky? Or you looking up at Drake and that's supposed to be the op. You know what I mean? If I'm loyal to the guy that gave me my first nationwide opportunity.
Yeah.
This is the guy that kicked the door down for me. And I'd like to do another song with him. I don't want to risk. And maybe it's not even about being scared of Kendrick. Maybe AZ Chike just let us in a little bit on Kendrick being kind of like Hove, because Hove is notorious for like,
right.
If any semblance that you seemingly are going against the grain, or you did something that could be perceived as going against the grain, you're out. Non-negotiable. You're out. So maybe this is a situation where AZ know that this is how he moving. Nah, I can't be affiliated. I can't. I might look crazy. He not in a position where he wants to be that guy that looks crazy. He's not big enough. No disrespect to AZ Chike. He's still in the ascent, is my point.
Yeah.
And he can't risk looking crazy with the number one guy in rap. I might get another verse, and Peekaboo's a slapper. He might want another Peekaboo. You know what I mean? So why risk it?
I dig it.
You know what? I got another clip here that just came in. I was stalling about some time. I'll be honest with you. But we got this game clip. Someone in the chat told us about it. And as I opened up Twitter, I see that it's there. I'm having some technical issues. So we're just going to move that out the way and pull it up here. Video file. You know what I mean? Where he's talking about apparently there was a Drake verse that he left off.
There a verse from Drake that we haven't heard yet? That was supposed to be on No Breaks?
Maybe, maybe I pulled it off because I didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, man, that is not the first version of that song. There was about 3 versions, and some other versions they weren't really too kind. So I pulled certain things off the album. I pulled a lot. I altered the album a lot to make sure that the focus would be more on music and less on BS, man, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it to protect certain individuals?
Maybe it was just to protect the coast as a whole. You know what I'm saying? I think it was better just to deliver an album full of music with no beefs. I don't think I'm dissing anyone on the album, if I can be perfectly honest.
Okay.
Interesting. Sin, you'll have the last word with that right there.
He don't think he's dissing anybody. Like we heard, GNX scares the hoes. Like we heard that, bro. We heard that. What are you talking about?
It's like 2 mentions of a GNX on the album, 2 or 3 actually. But you're right.
Like, I don't understand. Like all right, people. If people want to look at the collaboration with Drake, as something against Kendrick, I don't even take that seriously, right? There's nothing on that song that's really saying anything about Kendrick. So at that point, it's like, all right, Game wants to collaborate with Drake again. That's his prerogative. So be it. Got Drake on the hook. But there is again. Shouts to Jar, hashtag optics. There's the optics of that, and then later on in the album, talking about GNX scares the hoes. So what are we to deduce with that combination? Like for you to say I can't stand a rock throwing, hand hiding motherfucker. I can't stand that shit. Like if you're gonna throw the rock, stand on it. You know what I mean? Raise your hand, be like, yeah, it was me. I threw that rock. And what? But then you go hide your hand like, oh no, I didn't really mean it, or it wasn't really a quote unquote diss. You know what I mean? And play the semantics game like it was, it was just like a jab. It wasn't a real diss. You're like, y'all reading too much into it. Like, I hate all of that shit, man. Whoever it is, like we've had the conversation with like Griselda and everything, not to change the topic, but we've had that whole conversation too with like Madma, Lupe. We've had every time that shit happens, I can't keep that shit, bro. That shit makes my skin itch, bro. I hate it.
Game is usually the one to say it, so we're actually laughing at him now because he's the one who didn't say it. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He's usually the one to say your name and just throw the whole issue out there. And this time he didn't, and we still making fun. That's something like, your Game can't win, bro. Can't win.
Talking about where it was like this whole thing, the whole rollout, the whole idea behind it, everything just seems very contrived and time wasting. Like because you playing in our face, and I don't got time for that. We don't need that in rap right now. We don't You don't see. I feel like niggas ain't figure out that the model, like the software for rap, has changed, and we done got a whole new operating system. You don't gotta do all of that no more, bro. All you gotta do is put the album out, and we gonna either receive it negatively or positively. Like mad people are still not deducing. Even Pusha T figured it out late. To going back to that album, the software updated. You don't gotta diss no more. People want good raps. All you gotta do is deliver the good raps, and the rest will be history. You know what I mean? We gotta trademark that. It's been a software update in rap. You know what I mean? Because niggas is not getting. It's like me. I ain't get iOS 26 until madly. I ain't download this shit. Sin was having a whole fire background. Oh, yo, where you get that from, Sin? Whole time, all I had to do was update my phone.
Niggas holding on, man.
The shit been in the settings the whole time. Nobody going to their settings. Update the rap software. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe option. Hit the notification bell. Log in to all things Rap Roundtable. Follow us on social media. Follow us everywhere. Log in.
Oh.
We ain't perfect. We gonna get in trouble. We gonna piss you off. But if you not feeling some type of emotion, we haven't done our job. Go ahead, Sam.
Hold on. Victoria Campbell 141 says AZ pulled out of the song because he heard Wack was talking shit about him. So I don't know.
I mean, he definitely was talking shit about him after he pulled this.
After he pulled the song.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Thinking the egg is there, you know what I'm saying? But the way, but based on what Wack said, saying the other guy was better, maybe he caught wind of it.
Was the name?
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Again, that's West Coast politics. We are in New York. We don't know, huh? Moving on, staying out west though. Dr. Dre says he uses AI to produce songs. I got a quote here. This topic is mostly for Sam. The quote reads,
I don't make my blood pressure rise.
For real.
He says, I don't see it as a threat. I think the only people that see it as a threat are the people who have trouble creating. I had a discussion with a few people a few days ago. They were against AI. And I'm like, okay, you sound like the person that would have been against the drum machine when it came out, or synthesizers, right? That's a little quote, you know what I'm saying? Furthermore, he says there will be some crappy music. There's crappy music now. That's from Jimmy Iovine. In the studio, when gifted people have AI, they're gonna make better records. So it's like steroids. Dr. Dre said he's using AI producer as a tool to see what it could do with what I just did. So he's using it to enhance as opposed to the whole shebang. You know what I mean? Consider Rap Stomp. These are a couple of quotes, mostly from Dr. Dre, one from Jimmy Iovine. What are your thoughts on AI in music? Once again, we know we've been talking. This has been a regular topic on a roundtable, but now you have a Shogun saying he's using it.
One of your faves too.
Is he? I don't know.
What?
So
I digress. I thought he was high on your list.
I mean, he's technically he's high on like anybody's list, but like one of my personal favorites. I'm running through Jay Dilla, DJ Premier, Alchemist, Pete Rock, way before I get into Dre.
Copy.
You know what I mean? So, and Havoc. I might go to Havoc before I get into Dre. So, so where do I land with this? So here's what caught my ear when you were reading his quote. He's saying AI, he's using it to enhance in a way like, you know, what can AI do with what I just made, right? And I can't help but think, like, what has Dr. Dre just made?
Damn. God damn it.
What's the record that Dr. Dre just made? What's the most recent Dr. Dre production that we're looking at? Right? Maybe to himself, maybe whatever he's. Apparently I broke Jar.
Damn.
I broke Jar.
Just be a little more respectful. Just be a little
No. I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm being honest. What is it? Because we've had this conversation in the past, even before AI. we recently lived through the Compton album.
Yeah,
that shit was not fire.
Sadly.
We lived through the what was the shit that he did with Snoop Dogg recently?
Yeah,
that shit was also not fire.
Missionary, I think it was called, or some
Missionary.
Shit like
Thank you.
Yeah.
Forgot the whole name of it because that shit was not fire. So, like, what is the most recent work that Dr. Dre has made where we're like, oh shit, like Dr. Dre is working at this clip? Imagine him with the AI superpowers. Like nobody's saying that.
You saying that Dr. Dre needs enhancements?
I feel that I'm not saying that. He's saying that. He's telling you that right now.
But here's so I ask you this, Sin. What do you say to his quote about that's what they said about the drum machine? Because people kind of did. Because like before, you would have to have a real drummer in there banging out some loops.
Niggas hated the drum machine.
You know what I'm saying?
Kidding me?
Those ASRs, those Hakai's, everybody got one now. What do you say to that?
I feel you.
Episode. I think matter of fact, when I first met Sin, he ain't like the drum machine.
Sin's a master sampler. You know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about, Joe?
You ain't like the drum machines when I first met you back in 08, bro. You used to shit on the drum machines a little bit. You mean?
The NPCs fuck are you talking about?
You never used to shit on the drum.
Joe, what are you? I honestly have no idea. What you're talking about. You're having an AI hallucination right now, bro. Like that shit did not happen.
You never
on the drum machine, like what, the MPCs, the SP1200s,
maybe the Fruity Loops.
No, you love the SP
Fruity Loops. I don't think you were a big Fruity Loops fan.
It's something that Sin hated. It was something like new shit.
Definitely loved it.
Maybe it wasn't the drum machines, and I'm mistaken. But Sin hated some new age shit that he could not fucking stand, bro. Maybe it was the Fruity Loops. Maybe some kind of something digital that he ain't like. But I'm not placing it right now.
Well, we know he hates auto tune, but.
Yeah, I never loved the auto tune. I mean, I liked Homeboy.
Because I think it was when when we had the Zaytoven conversation, and we was arguing. I think Zaytoven
808s,
and Sin was like, I can't fuck with that.
Oh, maybe the drum kits.
Maybe the 808 kits.
It's the drum. Well, so if this is a perfect segue to me. So
packs.
All right, the packs, right? So I'll unpack this now.
Unpack the packs.
So sure, maybe there were definitely people, mostly white people, honestly, that look at drum machines.
Racist before, you know what I mean? Relax.
No,
either Sin is white or they're racist. It's always one or the other. You know what I mean?
I get it. Shit. But they looked at the drum machine and said, "Oh, we have no use for like real musicians, real bands anymore. Everything's going to be done through the sampler, right?" But here's the thing: the innovation of the sampler and the drum machine, the way that each individual artist would take that drum machine and sample in records, and one, they would have a choice of what records they would sample, what sounds they would sample. Two, there would be innovation in the way that they processed and mixed the samples, right? So like you would have like a Dr. Dre and a DJ Premier and an Eric Sermon all using the same machine, but none of them sounded like each other, right? Because they all had their own secret sauce of how they would implement that machine, and they would mix their drums differently. They would program their drums differently. They would truncate their drums differently. They would mold the ADSR envelope differently. That's for the real producers out there. So it was just so many different ways that you could mold what you sampled, right? And everybody, Wizard didn't sound like Primo didn't sound like Dr. Dre didn't sound like Eric Sermon, you know what I mean? Like there was just so many different flavors to what you could cook up with the drum machines. Now, albeit AI is super new, right? But to me, my understanding of it is AI is basically taking the entire, like, AI is being fed all of these different artists and producers and sounds, and just like fucking like making a hodgepodge of all these different sounds and artists and producers, and coming out with something that sounds like slop, you know. And that's my problem, right? You take a drum machine. If you're the cook on a drum machine, right, and you have all of these different ingredients, all of these different sounds. Shouts to Dean, because I'm gonna use this cooking analogy, right? You take all these different. You know exactly when to put a teaspoon of this and a tablespoon of that and a cup of this and half a cup of that, and you cook it up and you chef it up magnifique, right? That's what motherfuckers was doing back in the day with the drum machines. Right now, you feed something into AI and tell them, yo, give me something that sounds like Prince. And they're gonna give you something that sounds like a sloppy version of Prince, right?
Well, I don't think that's what Dr. Dre's doing.
Well, we don't know that's what Dr. Dre's doing. But my point is, AI does not know to add a pinch of this and a cup of that, right? It's just basically gonna give you that's why they call it slap. It just slaps together all of these different ingredients, and it has no discernment of how to really balance those ingredients out to make something that's artful. It's just gonna like mash everything together and give you this pile of slop and be like, here's what you asked for, right? And that's not what I asked for. That's what nobody asked for the shit, right? First of all, that's not what I asked for. I asked for something that's like, made with discernment, not something that's slapped together haphazardly through a fucking computer, right? Nobody wants that shit.
I look at it like, actually, Dini, what do you think of the situation?
I think I hate it, but it's the progression, man. People thought when we get typewriters, people ain't gonna write no more. You know what I'm saying? And niggas don't write no more. You know what I'm saying? Everybody types everything. So I kind of see Sin's point. I just, like I said, I just don't want it to lose the heart and the soul. Like, if there was a way to do this, like you said, it made a slop, but there was a technician that went in there and broke that shit down and re-engineered the shit and made some crazy shit out of it, which is basically sampling in and of itself, then I could probably respect some shit like that. But like you said, if it's just like the shit is generating a bunch of bullshit and we running with it, that's the part. I just the innovation, the integrity of the music shit is what I'm more afraid of losing.
But it's
that's
not.
What I'm
it's
afraid of.
Here's my thing. I have two more points and I'll pass it on. One, it's not sampling, right? Sampling and look, I'll admit, like, there's historically there's been a lot of people against sampling. To this day, there's a lot of people that's against sampling, right? But we proved. I feel like we've proven as as a musical society, as a genre, that there's an art to sampling, right? There's definitely like the easy way out, right? Yeah. You just take some shit, the puff rap, right? Yeah. You take a hit and just loop it, and all of a sudden it's a new hit, right? But there's such an art, like if if you're into like the Primos, the Alchemists, there's such an art to the collage making of sampling, and also the connection to the past, right? Like, you can't separate sampling and samplers from the context of you have to connect or reconnect to actual real music and artists of the past, right? And reinvent it for the present, right? I have discovered countless artists whose music I actually listen to, right? on a regular basis. I'll throw a playlist on a random Sunday of artists that I've discovered through sampling, right? Either through my own sampling or through knowing the samples of a Dilla beat or a Primo beat or whoever beat, right? If you move that over into AI, that connection is cut. There is no connection, right? You're just telling AI, hey, take the entire history of music, and based on the entire history of music, come up with something that sounds like such and such, right? And it comes up with something, and then you're like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. And then you play it, you use it, but where's the connection? Where's the connection to humans?
That's a good overarching perspective of AI, but at the same time, like when it comes to the Dr. Dre of it all, I guess I would have to see how he's implementing it, because everything what Sin is saying in the vacuum is 100% right.
Yeah,
but what is he doing with it? Is it a situation where he builds out the beat and then does he run it through a software, and then the software suggests the same thing where it's like, why don't you turn this up a bit? The tablespoon here, like what is, you know what it is? For me, as a person who's not a producer in that vein, what exactly is AI enhancement that's not what Sin is talking about, as far as they're just gonna imitate some shit and make some slap, and then like he makes the beat, throws the beat in there, and then AI just completely recreates it? Like, what exactly is the enhancement? How is it tangible is my question. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's why I'm looking at it.
Okay, we're not in the studio with Dre, so we don't know. But this brings me to my other point.
No, but it's a general question, because it's like, to me that's part of like the avalanche effect.
That's a valid question, because look, I don't want to be like more holier than thou than I usually am. So more self-righteous than I usually am. So I use ChatGPT, right? I'll admit right here on this platform, I've used ChatGPT. I ask it questions. Usually the same way that I search things on Google, right? Sometimes with certain questions, I'll take it over to the ChatGPT because I think it might give me a more detailed answer. You know what I mean? So it's not that I'm ultimately against AI. It's the generative AI that people are using to create art for you instead of you creating your own art. What is the purpose of art if you're not creating it as a human, right? Cool. And this brings me to the second point that I was going to get to, is that at a certain point, certain artists who once upon a time were, this is going to sound fucked up, but once upon a time were really truly artists of the art and the culture, they along the way they got so rich off of the art that now they're completely disconnected from the art, and now it's just content. It's just product, and it's just content. And as long as you can create product and content and make money off it, that's all that's going to matter to them. And Dr. Dre is in that category of people.
I'm gonna expand on that AI conversation. This is not a question. I'm just gonna throw something out there for the chat in the panel here to think about, because we will be back live later in the week. Friday Night Live. Make sure y'all tap in.
Yes, sir.
But now, if you consider, now this is me speculating, recklessly speculating. If you consider the stories of Ghost production around Dr. Dre, and to a lesser degree, but the stories that there, Timbaland, and the fact that they are in the forefront of producers sanctioning AI. Now you gotta start wondering who had the sauce the entire time. I'm just floating that out there.
That's uncomfortable. That is uncomfortable.
I'm just floating that out there. We will revisit this on Friday. But I'm just saying, it ain't Kanye. It ain't just Blaze. It's not even Swiss Beats. It's Swiss Beats is right next to Timbaland. But we've heard Ghost production stories of Dre and Timbo. Niggas have outright called Timbaland a thief. And they like, yeah, AI. Yeah. So I'm just wondering now. Now it makes me wonder if they ever had the sauce. Because if you're so quick to run to AI, and they had people question your abilities in real time. You know what I mean? But going back to the AI of it all, this is the problem though, because if some Joe Nobody shows up like Phoenix Flexing and he does an AI record, right? We don't respect, bro. It's Phoenix Flexing, no disrespect. But when I say we don't respect them, we're not taking you seriously as an artist. You just popped up on niggas' timeline, so we can easily erase you as fast as you popped up on the timeline. You don't matter as much. It's low-hanging fruit. Like you might create some other Phoenix Flexings who we will also eviscerate from the conversation once we listen to it. Look at Tiger. Tiger tried to hop on the Phoenix Flexing wave immediately. He got a 0.
Packed up.
He got a 0 from a platform that hip hop don't care about. But for them to give you a 0, that's crazy. Packed them out. No, none of the songs is trending. But if you have a Dr. Dre and a Timbaland sanctioning AI, that creates an issue now because they're gonna use nice words like, yeah, we're using it to help enhance or assist.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. But then but by just using it now, that you have programmed or greenlit, I should say, a multitude of mid-tier or producers we haven't even come across yet to now not even do the work. Because to me, AI is like back in the day, we Dini here, we with the food references.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day, you had to know how to fucking, even if it was Aunt Jemima, you had to make that pancake right with the mix, or you had your recipe. One day, Aunt Jemima just hit you with the complete. You don't gotta do shit no more, but add the water.
Stir.
To me, AI is like the complete now. You don't gotta do nothing. And I think the problem is once you have legends outwardly saying that they're doing it, you're creating the Aunt Jemima complete for the nobody producer we never heard of to start feeding you AI beats. Because thing is, everything with AI, like we said earlier, is like that. It's a tool. They use a specific verbiage, and they keep trying to sneak artists in through the doors. 4 Bats, Phoenix Flexing, and I'm sure there's a few others that we don't know about yet. But it's never in your face. It's always like a little backdoor put on. You know what I'm saying?
Who was that AI? Was it Korean?
Yeah,
artist that was trying to sneak through the door. Fuck out of here.
So my thing is to put a bow on it. All parties involved know that this is some nasty shit. They know it's nasty, but they adamant about pushing it through the door, and they putting people who are icons of a specific genre in front of
them. Jarv cooked with that one. Just add water to music.
That's what it is.
D. Rick James says.
Because before you had to, let's say you made pancakes from scratch, my nigga, it was flour, you need the right amount of yeast, the leaven, the little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, like egg, like all that oil, all that shit is in there now, bro. Just water and stir it up.
Bro, remember how we got the Fruity Loop shit and it came with the sounds and the plugins?
Everything. And
you know, before Fruity Loops, there was niggas figuring out the sounds and the plugins. And then one day we just got a software. Eventually, it's gonna be AI beat packs, nigga.
Like Timbaland and Dre using it is like your parents that smoke and tell you your parent can't tell you can't smoke. You see the smoke because they looking at you smoke. You know, right. How you can tell me it can't be that bad if you do it? I just feel like that's the world we're gonna be living in pretty soon.
Look, we are entering the next phase of Skynet, people. Like, why don't they do? See, why Taylor Swift not in front of this AI shit? Why gotta be Dre and Timbo?
Too of the Terminator this year.
Come on, bro. Why we can't get some country nigga to be the face of the AI? Why is always some black face that's in hip hop that's the leading edge of this backdoor BS?
Whatever Gordon Ramsay's next show is gonna be, you know, all the contestants are gonna get a box. It's gonna have all the ingredients already mixed. He's just gonna tell him, "Yo, just cook it. Just cook it.
Who can leave it in the oil?
Who can make it the fastest?"
Good. Yo, hit the like button.
Wow.
Hit the subscribe option. Hit the notification bell. Log into All Things Rap Roundtable. Follow us everywhere across social media. Specifically on Twitter, it's Rap Roundtable PC. Everywhere else, it's the Rap Roundtable. Follow the guys. Log in. get familiar with the brand. Again, leave your emotions at the door. We don't invite our viewers to agree with us all the time. We want to disagree. We're gonna debate because that's how we came up. And we want to preserve that energy. Agree culture and groupthink is ruining everything, and we don't subscribe to that over here. Last but not least, Ransom dropped the album to tie into the conversation we've been having throughout this episode. On everybody's algorithm, I can attest that the price of clarity has been on everybody's timeline. It's been a lot of conversations, album of the year talk, MVP talk, a lot of positivity around this project. We were one of the lucky ones to have an advanced copy. We kind of teased it last week when we talked about how good we thought it was. But let's get into the music before we wrap up this live stream. So, Deanie, we're going to have you bad lead off since, Sin and I have been doing the heavy lifting this
stream. Yeah. Y'all been cooking. Shout out to Macito, man.
The price of clarity, Ransom. I think it's a new era beginning for Ram. What do you think about this project?
I've said it once and I'll say it again. Just because you are an exceptional lyricist does not mean you got to scare the hoes. Shout out to Ransom. My nigga did not scare the hoes on this one. Thank you, Ransom, for another generous offering of top-tier lyricism. Great storytelling, world building, picture painting. Shit is insightful. Life lessons if you know the streets. Some of you don't. Well, listen and get a dose of them life lessons. You can always hear the survivor's remorse in my nigga music. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did that, so I don't have to go through that. Shout out to Hov. You get it? I love the album. Combines that raw sound that we get from Ransom with the thoughtful lyrics, the deep narration and shit. Like sophisticated street shit, but the bars is there, the entendres is there. It's a lot more soulful than a regular Ram project. You know what I'm saying? A lot more flavor, a lot more flows. What he did with the joint with Primo, I was fucking with that because new flows, new sonics, new like the bolsterness in this nigga voice just wasn't just everything was just working. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. Just to jump into the album real quick. Shout out to the intro, no rapping, but an intro needs to set the story. You know what I'm saying? It needs to open the book, and that's what this shit did. Prime example drops, boom, comes in firing. The beat, soon as the beat switch, takes it up another level. You know what I'm saying? Like, lyricism is not something you ever have to argue with this man for. Like, the lyricism will always be there. We've been listening to this nigga for like 20 years at this point, if not more. You know what I'm saying? Like, 2000, when the 18 and all that era. It's like early 2000s, bro. 99, 98, 99, 2000 type shit. Desert Storm shit. You feel me? So, crazy. Good Morning's fire. Sorry, my love. The Dr. Manhattan is the joint that takes me, bro. Like, there's an X-Men scheme in there that he uses. Drumless soul beat. Like, the Ransom shit is like, it's Thanksgiving, bro. It's Thanksgiving dinner. You know how this shit just tastes better the next day? It's already hitting. You know the mac is hitting. The turkey's hitting, but everything, when it's the next day, everything just chills together, congeals almost and shit. It just got better and better. Richer Prior Life, probably my favorite song on the album. You know what I'm saying? We all know a used to nigga. We all know one. You know what I'm saying? I was that dude. I used to be this. I used to have that. The song, we just listen to that shit. That shit is just the way everybody knows a nigga like that. Very relatable. A lot of relatable songs on the project. Swan Song. Something for the Jones, man. It don't got to be something that make you just shake your shoulders. It can just lighten the mood, create some levity, just build. Like, this is a joint you can listen to with your shorty. Catch your vibe, great flows. If she's in tune, she might ask you, who this? Like, very sophisticated type shit. Boule with the almost touch the sky-esque kind of sample. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you caught it, but the way that beat was just hitting, bro, with the bounce and the vibes. Temptations with the great story track. Coldest Winter got Free, and yo, shout out to Young Chris and shout out to Free. Like, still sounding sharp. Free sounded great. Chris with the flows, and Ransom showed up. Everybody did their thing. MK Ultra, rapid fire lyricism, bro. Punch you in the face lyricism. That's the Ran that we all know. Was MK Ultra. Price of Clarity, the Ran we all know. Circumvention with Lloyd Banks. Shout out to Lloyd, man. I like Lloyd on this. Like, Lloyd Banks has been showing up on a lot of features he's been doing, man. Hollywood Square's dope. Crystal Clear Interlude. Ultimate Betrayal dope. And the confessional booth to close it out, bro. Like, I feel like this is music you need to hear. I feel like sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we get stuck on like over just listening to somebody bar you to death. Sometimes we get stuck catching the vibe to death. You know what I'm saying? This is sophisticated lyricism, storytelling, world building, picture painting, and it also got some joints you could play to kind of lighten the mood. Like everything don't gotta be crash your head against the wall street shit. This, like I said, Ransom will give you the street shit, but there's a sophistication with the street shit. Like I made it. It's a survivor's remorse kind of thing. It's a nigga who's seen so much that he don't want to be around niggas type shit. The whole aura of the nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I've treacherous shit. That he's been locked up. A lot of niggas who've been locked up seen shit. You know what I'm saying? You understand the mechanics of people. I'm sure behind those walls you see the real hearts and minds of people. When there's not like bullshit aside to put on the table. When it's just four walls and niggas, I'm sure there's a perspective and a mentality that goes on there. That's why my nigga live on beaches and shit now. My nigga seen a lot. He did a lot. The project is fire. Thank you, Ransom, for another offering. I've almost been like knocking on the nigga door begging for some shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas don't always just have to be lyricists. We know lyricists are lyricists. You get what I'm saying? That's why I think Kendrick made it so special because we know he's a lyricist, but he DNX. He made Damn. He gave you them joints that, oh shit. Not only could the nigga rap to death, he could give you some joints to bounce to. These joints have some joints to bounce to. I love the flows. I love the energy. Ransom, another one. I like this joint even better than the one with Primo. And that was probably headed to be my favorite joint from Ran outside of Roman. Shout out to that. I've talked to that.
Listen, Dini surmised it very well. I'm gonna go through some of my favorites. Agree with Dini 100%. Like the album kicks off incredibly. The prime example, Ransom is one to like really love him a drumless beat. You know what I mean? And I have no qualms with that whatsoever. I love me a good drumless beat too. So when the prime example hit and like you had the beat and it was building and it was flowing and it was looping, I was like, all right, this is one of Ransom's drumless joints. And then the beat drops and you're like, oh shit, all right, this is cooking now. You know what I mean? Not just because it had drums, but also like the choice of drums. Like again, as a producer, like I look into like, all right, what drums were chosen and used for certain samples and certain loops and beats. And so like the impeccable marriage of the drums and the loop, the sample on prime example, perfect way to start off the album. Like obviously it has the like the intro, Ignorance Was Bliss, but I don't count that. Like this was the first song, right? Good Mornings, love the production, suited Ransom very well. And then we get into Sorry My Love. First of all, shouts to Nick Grant. Nick Grant is somebody that we don't really talk about very often. I don't see an awful lot of people, honestly, talking about him very often, except for my boy Al. Shouts to Al. If you're watching, he's been telling me about Nick Grant for the longest, right? Nick Grant is dumb nice, and next to Ransom, like I want to hear more of these two together. Like if they can make like a few more collabs or maybe like a short collab EP, I'm here for it, man. Like these two together sound immaculate, right? Dr. Manhattan, the standard Ransom flair, but it never disappoints. That's fine. But then we get to Richard Pryor Life, right? And here's my thing. I talk a lot on this podcast about rappers need to find new things to talk about, new stories, new topics, tackle something different, right? Something that maybe it's hyper specific to your life, maybe it's hyper specific to your boy's life, but like grasp onto something and unpack it, like peel all the layers back, right? And so when I listen to Richard Pryor Life, it's like I'm like, I feel like in the past 30 some odd years that I've been listening to rap, I feel like somebody should have told this story before. Somebody should have talked about the, coulda, woulda, shoulda motherfucker from high school. The guy that peaked and wants to keep talking today like he was the same popular guy in high school that had all the potential but never amounted to nothing. And I can't. I went through the mental Rolodex. I could not remember. I can't remember. I could not find a song where somebody has tackled this topic, right? And Ransom is here to discover these new, themes and topics to talk about and put them on wax and put them to verse, right? And that's one of that's one of the main things that I respect about Ransom as a lyricist and as an artist, as a rap artist, is that he does that work. He's like, yo, what, we've talked about the streets, we've talked about, the drugs, we've talked about, the violence, we've talked about the women, we've talked about, what have we not talked about yet? And he gave you something that we haven't talked about yet. At least to my recollection. I have not seen this theme unpacked in a rap song before. And I love it, right? Richard Pryor Life, super fire.
Fire.
And then we get to Swan Song. Holy shit. I did not think Ransom had this in his bag. Such a mellow, almost jazzy beat. Like I can't remember a time hearing Ransom spit over something so jazzy and so just like just smooth and mellow and like and he meets the energy of it. And that's the thing for me also with Ransom is like, he definitely has his favorite production styles, right? And so I think when people talk about, Ransom as a rapper and as a lyricist and saying, he raps the same on every project or every beat, or like if you heard one Ransom song, you've heard them all. Like maybe it's because Ransom has a type, right? Like production wise, he has a type and he gravitates to that type and he usually approaches it in the same way. This particular instrumental here, I've never heard Ransom rhyme on anything like that sounded like this before. And he definitely he found a way to approach it to where it's still Ransom, but it's laid back, it's smooth, but he still gets his bars off. Like this right here is the crowning achievement of this album, right? And from there on out, Boulay, fire, the Temptations, fire. The Coldest Winter with Freeway and Young Chris, man. I did not think I needed a Ransom, Freeway, and Young Chris collab, but here it is, and it is fire.
Young Chris is having a resurgence. Keep your eyes on Young Chris. He's been on a little low-key run recently.
Circumvention, fire. The Ultimate Betrayal, fire. Confessional Booth, fire. It ends off well, but like, boy, that up from track 1 to track 7 is a completely different Ransom. And I didn't even talk about the joint that you said sounded like
Touch the Sky.
Touch the Sky.
Boulay.
That's Boulay. That's also a completely different bag for Ransom. Different bag. Never heard Ransom rhyme over that type of beat. And he kills it. He kills it. So this to me is a statement album for Ransom, right? This is like, I could do any style. I could do, laid back. I could do, the lyrical miracle shit, but I could also do for the women. I could do party jump. I could do anything you want me to do. You know what I mean? Respect my fucking name.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have nailed it thus far. Like, I'll just start with the one quote negative, and again, it's only a negative if that's an issue for you, and it's the delivery. Ransom's delivery, Hudson touched on it. It's not for everybody. You know what I mean? So if that's an issue for you and that's why you can't listen to bro, so be it. I got no qualms. You know what I mean?
None.
I go back in time with Ransom to, you know, always got to reference the Clue era. Hitchcock and Ransom, the 18. It's been shit. What? We in 2026. I've been listening to Ransom rap for a cool 25 years when you put it in its proper perspective.
Facts.
I think the first time I heard the 18 was 2001, me personally. So I've basically heard the progression. Then you fast forward to 2021. He does the project with Rome Streets, and he's talking about how much, you know, he's not a people person. He loves to rap, but doing the media and doing all that, just beating around people, that's not his bag. You know, when you listen to the raps, there's a bit of a chip on his shoulder at times. You know, he feels a way about a lot of different things, and he discusses it through the rhymes. He wants to compete. He does that through the rhymes. That's why, like, again, when we talk about a game, we get frustrated because we've seen a Ransom through the rhymes tell you he feels like he's better than everybody, and it's not controversial. He's just a competitive lyricist. Nobody got up in arms. Maybe a handful of people, snowflakes mostly, got offended, but for the most part, heads knew Rand feel like he the best. He's rhyming like he's the best. He should feel like he wants to compete, and we love that. And we listen to that chip on his shoulder for a cool 6-7 years from the time he resurfaced up until now. Now 2026, I think that chip is gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know what inspired it, but I didn't hear a guy that had a point to prove on his project while simultaneously not losing a step. Because sometimes when a rapper loses that point to prove, they lose a step. Like, he sounded free almost, like whatever's on him, uplifted. The beat selection and the vulnerability. Because you talk about that record Swan Song where he's talking to the ladies and shit on the opening bar. He's like, might have been the summer of 2012. You told me you was nervous. I told you I couldn't tell. That's why I was put in jail. I said it really didn't matter. I'm flattered you cook and kill. That little stanza right there. We've never got that from Ransom. And if we did, we missed it. You dig what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's not just a matter of him talking to the ladies, but the fact that he's talking to a woman he's interested in while being uncomfortable talking about jail and his past life. You know, as men, we do that. You come off that subject and let's focus on what's in front of us right now. You're making that care. Let's talk about the food you're cooking. You know what I mean? We do that. If men in relationships do that sort of thing, men that deal with women do that. So that's something that incel wouldn't even get. You get what I'm saying? That quick subject change to get out of a conversation you don't want to have. You know what I'm saying? And it's warm. R&B hooks, you kidding me? It's like, bro, like this guy's really doing it. The beat selection, the comfort, and not so much, to Sin's point, street raps. Because it's like, we've heard it all before.
Right.
But like now he's really doing something that not many people in his particular sphere are doing, where it's like, you come up, you in the midst of it, you start making money with rap, but you still rhyme like you're in the midst of it. Not many guys right now from that era in particular rhyme from a position where they're above it and they're a lot of retrospective rhymes or a different point of view of it all. They're upwards looking down at the crowd now. Like there's a 29-year-old dude right now in the middle of the shit going through it. I'm not there anymore. And I think on this project right here, he's finally rhyming from a position throughout the body of work where he's not there at all anymore. And in some cases, he sound like he damn near preaching. He sound like Pastor Rand. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this is another book. I wanted to go find it for this particular stream, and of course, like, you know, hating on the guy. He's like, how could I make $500 million to send your ass to a gambling site? You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that.
Right.
Oh, the tone of a man who gripes. I'll show you how to handle life. Molding your thoughts like clay. The curse of Andrew Dice. Like this is gospel to a certain nigga. You know what I'm saying?
We hit entendres, nigga.
The entendres, the wordplay,
all over the album.
If I could just throw out, like, this is a moment where it's rare that this happens these days because, you know, we're in 2026. So like, but a moment where I'm just like, woo, and I just like start slamming the table. Like this was on the joint with Lloyd Banks, Circumvention, right? And his verse started off like, for those who never believed what I said I'd achieve, they said I'd probably make it happen if hell ever freeze. Success will never see you coming like celibacy. Incredibly, I'm having delicacies over delicate seas.
Shit me.
Hell of a breeze. It's telekinesis. Sis. I throw the words that'll move you and level the speakers I made. Yo, the way he was combining all of these internal rhyme schemes.
Yeah. And in the past,
different planet.
It would have been, but to get those rhyme schemes, but not just a metaphor that knocks your socks off, but like with subject matter, alongside lyricism. This is the shit that we love.
And this no filler bars, bro.
No filler bars.
No filler bars.
Or like I call them layover bars, where you're just waiting to set up the next punch.
There you go.
It's just
none of that. Everything connects.
Matter, bars, storytelling throughout the body of work. Again, I'm like the price of clarity. I'm almost willing to argue, and I'd like to talk to Rand about this. I'm gonna bug him about talking to him for a couple of minutes. I almost feel like this was a concept album, but he just ain't say it. Because like the name of the price of clarity, for it to sound the way it sounds, for the what he's rhyming about, the level of comfort we're hearing from him as a man, I really feel like Rand is in a different space, and this was the concept album to let you know that I can always call up Nick Craven. I could call up whoever else, Conductor, all of them other guys in that space, and I can make that album over and over again.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna challenge you, and not only I'm gonna challenge myself, I should say, but I'm gonna give you 17 tracks of this challenge. I will listen and dare you to play it front to back and not feel something by the time you're done. And I'm like, yo, he did that on this project. And Dina, you made a point about the Game album, not comparing them individually, but just a point you made. When you put on the Game album, there's no dots.
No connection.
You know what I mean? You open that Rand album right now, the first 6 or 7 tracks, dots. Niggas are spinning this shit. So not only are they playing it, they're giving it the curiosity listen, they're going back.
They spinning, bro.
And they picking up the gems.
It's a meal that takes time.
The New York in me sometimes be wanting to jump out the window when I hear niggas getting praised too much and call niggas dick riders. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, this album deserves all the praise that is being rained on it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Price of clarity. If you call yourself a fan of rap, fuck all the allegiances and rap beefs in Canada and LA. If you just love rap from wherever and you haven't heard this Rand problem, you're playing yourself. Sorry, not sorry.
D-Rick James said brain food. That's what it is, bro.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Salute.
He said I'm known to light a mic like Vitiligo. You got it, Rand. You got it. You got it, man.
That's why when niggas talk to me about Lil Wayne, it's like I can't get with that when Rand just gave me a like metaphor, but look what he said. I'm known to light him like vitiligo.
Crazy.
Huh? And it's not even, thing is, he'll sneak that ball by you. If you're not listening, you might miss it. Like, wait, he said what?
You gotta rewind, man. You got listen. You can't listen to this shit one time. You gotta listen to it 2, 3, like back to back.
No antics, no contrived rap beefs, no unnecessary podcast interviews, just good, pardon me, great music. That's all we want. Ransom got the software download. He figured it out. Like, you know what I mean? Just make the good music. He got the download. You know what I mean? Any final words just before we wrap up?
Nah.
Keep doing what you're doing, Rand. Like this is
it is up there.
Every time I say Rand need to do something like this, it just happens to he does it, and I'm impressed. You know what I'm saying?
Telling that Rand and Rome got the download, and you see where they going.
Got it.
Decent work, right?
Both have made significant improvements in terms of like sonical ability. Like they always were nice. They always were prime lyricists. But the thing that makes you want to press play, like it's so important in the game, man. The album just makes me want to press play.
That part. We got a couple of super chats to get to before we get up out of here.
Salute, y'all.
It's some known entities as well. We got Jeremy Cole. Shout out Jeremy Cole.
Salute.
Games, interviews, and social media posts are taking all of the steam from his disses. There's no there's no reason for Dot to respond because Game won't stand on it. And that look, Sid and I talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Jermaine L. Johnson says, I believe that Chike just had the highest level of respect for Dot. Dot rapped Chike's lyrics on the Super Bowl stage. The effing Super Bowl, yeah. Yeah. Points made. And TB. Back again, faves. No break sounds like Game tossing shots at Kendrick. Yeah, we said we did we had a conversation about that last week. TB, if you got a second, go play that. Send and I talk for like maybe 20 minutes on that particular topic. But Kendrick doesn't owe everybody a response for mentioning him sideways. If Game really wants smoke, say his name with your chest. Kendrick ain't running a rap customer service desk. TB.
Shout out to TV, bro.
TV.
Out,
I love him, man.
Make sure y'all check out that Game conversation Sincere and I had last week. Great conversation. Make sure y'all tapping into the new rap music is out there. You know what I'm saying? Try. You know what? I would even say to start liking. Hit the like on a couple of posts you might not even like, just to adjust your algo so you know what's going on each and everywhere in every region. Because every region is cooking up right now. You got some young guys in Atlanta perking up. You got some things in the Midwest moving, things in Texas moving. Like a couple of other things, expand that algorithm and log in the rap until we get that news show that we deserve. It's up to us to go find the good crack. If you need a balance, take us home.
Shout out to each and every one of y'all live and direct right now watching. Please hit that like button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like my brother just said, sometimes you got to like a couple videos to get niggas in the algo. You know what I'm saying? We trying to be your favorites podcast. You heard? We trying to bring back that feeling. Restoration, you know what it is. Shout out to Macito. Shout out to Jarvie. Shout out to Sincere. I'm Dean the Balance. So you know where the fuck you at. It's Monday Night Raw at the Rap Round Table. You dig? We out of here. Love y'all.
See y'all Friday Night Live. Make sure y'all pull